Welcome to this special Night of Champions review here at VinceRussoBrand.com. I am Jeff Lane, and joining me today is Zac Eisenstein, and we're going to be covering Sunday night's pay-per-view from top to bottom.
Yeah,
Zac, welcome back to the United States. You've been over in like Japan and Australia and all these countries I've never heard of.
Yep.
So
Thank you. I'm really happy to be back in the United States. So I appreciate that.
Now, was this the first show you had seen since you left?
Yeah, this is the first show I got to watch. I tried to watch Raw last week in my hotel, but we didn't get the channel it was on or something. It's weird there because Raw's not live in some countries, I think, and when it is, you're watching it at some crazy hour. So I was honestly just reading Bleacher Report every day to see what was up.
Well, some of the weeks I don't think you missed much. The night after SummerSlam, I don't remember. Did you see that one? Because that was a good Raw. No,
I was gone. I flew out the night of SummerSlam.
That's right. Yeah. So that was probably the best Raw of the year, the night after SummerSlam.
I know. I don't remember exactly why, but I remember being I remember looking at my phone in an airport and being like, "What?" Yeah.
All right, but Sunday night we had the Night of Champions, and it kicked off with Ryback versus Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title, and Kevin Owens ends up getting the win in this one. Ryback gets him up for the shell shock. Owens rakes his eyes. The ref can't see it and turns it into a roll-up, gets the pin, and is the new Intercontinental Champion. I thought it was an all right match, dude. I don't know what you thought, but I liked how they worked the shoulder. You know what I mean? They kind of told the story with Ryback's injury, and I don't have – some people they think Owens winning this belt is a step back, which I just think is absolutely ridiculous.
For who? For Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Because he was, I think that's always a stepping stone, in my opinion. Before you make it to the end.
Come on now, that's not a step backwards for many people.
So as far as this goes, and Owens did an interview later with JoJo in the show, who was looking mighty fine. I'd like to add Sunday night, but it seems like he's fallen out of the spotlight since the Cena stuff, and he really hasn't had a meaningful storyline. I know he did a program with Cesaro, and they wrestled a bunch of times.
I think there was a lot of backlash to the Cena stuff.
Yeah.
In the sense that there were all these rumors that everybody in a suit was not feeling Kevin Owens. So maybe not a backlash with the fans, but I think we were led to believe there was a backlash in the office after the Cena stuff. So remember he came out looking like a mid-carder, breaking up some fight a week later or something like that. So I was like, that's why I think it's absolutely ridiculous for someone to think that him getting the IC belt is a step backwards, because I'm thinking I just went away for a month. When I left, my dude was breaking up fights with Los Matadores. You know what I mean? Come on. Be happy. Be very happy. He was in NXT 6 months ago or something. Maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they'd put this title on him if they were losing faith or they didn't like him. What do you think about his gear? Because, me and Vince talk about his gear all the time. Vince hates it. His Kevin Owens is his shorts and his
I gotta it doesn't bother me. I don't, to the point that I think about it constantly when I'm watching him wrestle, but I'd have to go on the side of not liking it. I think he looks kind of scrubby, basically.
Yeah.
And I get it. I watch old school wrestling, and a lot of these guys didn't have great bodies and stuff, and it's fine. But you put a pair of tights on or something, or you do something to help. He does. He looks like he's dressed like I should smoke a bowl with him before I should be wrestling with him.
I think it'd be entertaining if they brought it into his storyline, because the character of Kevin Owens so far, he doesn't respect anybody. He's disrespectful. So why don't cut a promo where he's like, I'm not coming out here in my underwear. You know what I mean? You guys want to see me in my underwear? I'm not doing that. This is what I would wear to the gym. This is what I'm wearing in a match. If you don't like it, screw you.
If they were going to do something like that, I would think it serves purpose. But like I said, I don't really think about it. I think he looks fine. But if that were me, I probably would wear something different.
After that, we get the announcement. Then this is the first time this has been announced that at the next pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, Brock Lesnar will be wrestling The Undertaker at the Hell in a Cell. So this was obviously announced to, I'm assuming, for the people that got the free month of the network maybe, and they don't know if they're going to get the next month. So they wanted to get this out there for people to see. But in my opinion, it does the same thing introducing something like this on Raw. They're watching it anyway. But how do you feel about this? Because I was kind of torn. Like, I understand why they did it. You know, they want to immediately build anticipation for the next show. But at the same time, it's like, okay, here's the match first, and then we'll get you there after the fact instead of developing a story to get them into the match.
Creative, you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, I feel you. That's not where my mind normally goes to stuff. You think about that stuff a lot more than me, but I think you're totally right. Like, I think that's valid. You want the card to be revealed to you as the month goes by through good stories and ups and downs, not just like laid out on like force fed kind of. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That didn't like occur to me, but that totally makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean that is my personal preference, but I think either way that match will sell the pay-per-view. People are going to want to see that either way, I think.
Yeah.
So we go to Dolph Ziggler and Rusev next. Did you see Ziggler's tights? He had like one.
Rick Rude. I like the Rick Rude.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Well, I think that's what we're supposed to think. If we know anything about wrestling, that's what we're supposed to think. But why people boo Rusev is beyond me. That's a thought I had watching it. And I'm saying I'm not talking about smart marks. From a storyline perspective, I'm not sure. This is such a convoluted storyline to me. We've talked about this on Twitter before, I think, where you just can't cut this down into like a heel and a face because it doesn't make any sense. Like, you got a guy who's got his girlfriend stolen from him, basically, but I'm supposed to side with the dude who stole her. But he's kind of acting like a jerk now when 6 months ago he was like my hero. When you got Lana, who's like they're trying to make a baby face out of, when she's it really is. It just I love Rusev and I love Ziggler, so I enjoyed watching them wrestle each other. But like Summer and Lana and anything creative that has to do with this stuff, I'm just like whatever. They had a really good match, I think. They had a good wrestling match.
What'd you think of the finish with the shoe, with Summer throwing the shoe?
I think that it was timed. I actually wrote this down. Summer's voice is annoying, but her shoe throw at Rusev was perfectly timed. It was perfectly timed. So that's what I think about. I think kudos to her because she freaked out for that's like what when I'm watching this stuff, the stuff that bothers me is if it doesn't look real, because I'm not an idiot. I know what's going on, but I want it to look real. And she stood there. She paused for just the right amount of time. Everyone was perfect. Rusev got right in front of Ziggler at the perfect moment. It was perfectly timed. It didn't look fake, at all. So I liked it.
And you run a risk when you do stuff like this because, I mean, it's not a guarantee that somebody can throw a shoe and hit somebody in the face or wherever, from that distance every single time. So, if she misses that throw, what do? It screws it up. So there's a rumor going around, and who knows if it's true, but that they're considering putting Lana back with Rusev because they don't like how all this is going.
Well, my fingers are crossed because I don't like how all this is going. But,
I think what's killing it, and I don't know if anybody agrees with me, if you agree with me, but I think it's the fact that Lana was such a bitch and so, like, anti-American, and now she's like this girl next door who's hula hooping in her driveway, and we're supposed to be buying that this is the same girl from before, and it just doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you. I think it's like, well, even more simple than that. It's like you had a good thing going, or you had. I don't think Lana was around long enough for them to interpret whatever the real reason was that everybody liked her. And like you're saying, it very well may have been that she was such a raging bitch. So it's like, why are you going to take away from someone what their success, what's drawing people to them, and it's just dumb. It's like everything I was saying before. Their storyline is just maybe if it was done better, maybe if I had a better reason to believe that she's like a nice person now. But like, what you like have your personality has done a complete 360 because you broke up with Rusev.
I mean that's it,
Like,
right? That's what it boils down
that's
to.
your, like, life changing experience. Like, and she's supposed to be like a role model now for little girls and stuff, and tweeting inspirational garbage, and it's like, uh, I just, I hope that I want her to just like, I want her to be like, F America, I was wrong. F the kids. Where's Rusev at? As a kayfabe fan, I would be like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and as a smart mark fan, I would too.
With her injured, who knows how long she's going to be off TV? But it seems like in the meantime, they're doing this weird thing with Dolph now chasing Summer Rae, like giving her earrings and stuff. Which I hope they have an explanation for this. You know what I mean? Like,
it's heel-ish, right?
Yeah, so I mean, either make him a player
backwards. Am I confused because Rusev is the babyface and I'm just wrong and I just didn't get that? I'm serious. Like, people will probably tweet at me if they think that's true, right? Do that. If you tweet at me if you really think that that's what's going on, because maybe at this freaking point, you know what I mean? Maybe I was just wrong. Maybe they both switched and I didn't realize it.
Listen, if you've ever had a girl that like craps on you and then rubs her new boyfriend in your face, I think anybody would see why we would side with Rusev on this one.
It's like, come on. And everybody would know, too, like, if this was like a teen drama, Rusev doesn't really like Summer Rae.
Yeah.
He's a rebound. You know what I mean? No matter what he says about Lana in his character, no matter what he calls her, you'd be sitting on your couch and you're just like, you love her, dog. You miss her. No.
I mean, it's intriguing. People talk about this is the storyline they talk about, so I think there's substance there. I just think the execution is off. They're just not executing.
The most intriguing aspect to me so far of the entire storyline has been Dolph starting to like play games now.
Yeah, let's hope they know where they're going with this one. That could be interesting.
That'd be cool.
Tag team title match: Dudley's and the New Day. I don't think I've talked to you about Xavier Woods in this trombone deal. I want your thoughts on this, man.
I think Xavier's the man, dude, and I think the trombone's hilarious. I have only positive things to say pretty much about the New Day, but I thought that match had a nice finish. And, it's the oldest trick in the book with the, you're winners but not new champions, It's cool. I like stuff where there's just like it's getting to the point where I like finishes that I've seen like in world-class championship wrestling and like in the WWF in the 80s and stuff, which I think it was one like that, and it's not a knock. Like, I think those guys just did have like a really nice tag team match. Yeah. And Dudley, it was awesome to, see them go at it. Obviously, cool.
I like the finish if the purpose was to lead to another match with a legit finish. If this is blown off,
I assume that.
What?
Yeah, I said I guess I assume that's what's gonna happen, which I shouldn't.
Well, yeah, but I mean that would make sense at this point, and if that's where they're going with it, I don't have an issue with it at all. If this was going to be their only match, then I thought it could have been done better. Dude, the the trombone, I think what makes the trombone so good is the fact that he really knows how to play it. Yeah, so he's playing legit songs out there, and
like playing it.
He's doing scales, he's doing the Rocky song, like.
Oh, What do you think about when Xavier went to the table? What's your opinion on him trembling? Because I'm watching with my girlfriend and I'm like, oh, that was sick. He's like trembling, and she's like, no, that makes it look fake. And like, right, like she's not like super wrestling person. That just came out of her mouth, and I was like, oh my god, is she like right? Is that like super like cartoonish?
Dude, I think that happens to people sometimes, especially when you're inside the bubble and you're so into what happens all the time. You get different perspectives than the random person that doesn't really watch. And sometimes they got the better opinion than you do because they're the ones that would be, am I going to stop and watch this and think it's real, or am I going to change the channel?
Yeah, I was kind of like, damn, you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
even though, like I said, I think Xavier's a man, but that's just an interesting like concept.
You know, because like I saw it, and I'm like, oh, that's what Terry Funk used to do, and like I didn't, and I wasn't like, okay, that looks fake. I was like, hey, that's how Terry Funk used to sell. He would shake like that and sell like vicious bumps. But yeah, I can totally see somebody that doesn't watch wrestling be like, are you kidding me with this?
It's like Ric Flair walking 2 feet before he falls on his face. It's like, you mean to tell me that that's the way you felt like all these matches your whole career?
Well, dude, you know, and some stuff I do notice, like when somebody chops somebody and they bump, like that, to me, that's not, you shouldn't bump. You should stagger. You know what I mean? And stuff like that happens a lot. And I think that does turn off casual fans that just think that just doesn't look real.
But I consider myself a very hardcore fan, and I don't like stuff like that. You know, the most important part of a match to me is how brutal and real it looks, the moves look.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's got to look like a fight, man. I 100% agree.
You know.
All right, so Divas Championship. This was a rematch from Raw. So we had Charlotte versus Nikki Bella, and the rules is Nikki will lose the title, no matter how she loses, DQ, whatever. She loses the belt, so she has to. She can't do the twin magic, blah 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 blah. Which I thought they played up real nice. Like I really liked the part where Charlotte was in the half crab, which Nikki should do every match, by the way, with the camera.
Yeah.
You know, when she's squatting.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, Charlotte's trying to reach for the ropes, and the girls are trying to pull the ropes back. And Nikki's like, no, you're going to get me disqualified. I'm going to lose the title. Like, I like that. You know what I mean? That they played that into the match. I think that's good psychology. A lot of times we don't get stuff like that. But what'd you think about the match as a whole and Charlotte getting the belt here?
I knew it was going to be a clean finish as soon as they announced that it didn't matter how she lost. You know, as soon as Stephanie on Raw said that, you know, none of this doesn't matter, then I knew it was going to be a clean finish. And I think that Charlotte, after Nikki Bella's great, like whatever, she's Nikki Bella, sure. Good job, Nikki Bella. But after watching that match, I think that Charlotte is so good. And I thought she was good before, but I think she did so well. I would like to see her. I know that she's not really active right now in the story, but I would love to see like Natalya versus Charlotte. I think the two of them are like, because that's another one. I think after watch, I always thought Natalya, I still do, is like the most pound for pound, the best diva in the ring, like as a wrestler. You know, she's the best female wrestler, I think, in the WWE. And I watched that match last night, and I really do think that Charlotte is like on that level as well. Some of the ways that Charlotte's face, you know, they tell you sell like 90% or something with your face. Well, she was killing it last night. I haven't seen a male or female superstar look that distraught. I have no idea when.
Yeah, I agree. Especially the sell she did when she got suplexed into the turnbuckle. Like Nikki suplexed her into the turnbuckle and she sold like her leg, like screamed. Like I thought that was great.
Yeah, dude. Like she was just like on fire. It was like magical for her. That's right. And so I back her. I'm very like, you know, happy for her. And I'm happy for I like the fans that she's got the belt. I think that rules.
Everybody was crapping on the finish on Monday with Charlotte getting screwed out of the title, and I hope they understand now that this is why that happened.
Yeah.
That made this win that much more important. That made this match so important. And that's one thing I said for this past week's Raw that I thought they did really well. They built the anticipation for this match. They made everybody want to see Charlotte win at Night of Champions, and then they got it, and it was a huge payoff. And I thought they did this whole week with these two girls brilliantly. That's funny you bring up Natalya, because I saw her. She either did an interview or something where she's confused as to why she's not being used in this angle. And I agree. I don't understand. They've moved some of the other girls on, like Summer Rae's now not wrestling. She's the valet for Rusev.
Yeah.
Some of the other girls like fell off the face of the earth. But Natalya, like, she's still on the roster. I know Tyson Kidd's hurt, but you can do something with her. You know what I mean? Well, why do you have her if you're not going to use her?
Oh, dude, I think she's like, I think she's easily the most talented female. I don't think it's like even a close call for second. I don't even know who the next one is. Probably Charlotte. Charlotte, I think. And I'm just talking about when wrestling.
Right. But I mean, Natalya, she could get anything over anyway, non-wrestling. You know what I mean? She's good on the mic. Her mannerisms, like, she understands how it works. She knows how to get over.
Yep.
Yeah. So next we got the 6-man. Okay. So were you completely surprised with Jericho, or did you see the spoiler ahead of time?
No, I was completely surprised.
Okay, so like I got to stay off the internet before pay-per-view, like when I want to see surprises. Like, I knew he was in the building, so it was on all the dirt sheets, so I knew it was a possibility for him. So seeing that fresh, what was your reaction to that? Like, having no idea it was going to be Chris Jericho.
If I had to sum it up in a few words, it would be, oh, cool, Chris Jericho.
I mean,
I wasn't blown. The music started and the lights flashed, and I went, "Ah, damn, Jericho!" Like, true. Like, I'm happy I didn't think of that. Whatever.
Well, it more of a? It could have been somebody lame. At least it's Jericho, because I think they put themselves in a tough position with this. They had to deliver on this third man. If they throw like, the rumor was to be Eric Rowan. You throw somebody out there like that, the crowd's gonna crap on it.
If it was Eric Rowan, that would have been ridiculous. But,
I mean, we've talked about that, and that's nothing against Rowan. I just think they've written his character poorly.
Not at all.
They tried the babyface thing with him in Survivor Series, but that gimmick does not work as a babyface.
But I'm just saying, the mystery character for the Bray Wyatts would have been, and for the Wyatt brothers would have been the other original Wyatt brother. Like,
right.
Stupid. I thought it was, or not, you know what I'm saying. We've already seen Rowan go against the other Wyatts. We've seen him over.
Now, they did an interesting finish because Jericho did the heel tag yourself in move, okay, and it cost him the match. And then he did the tough guy shoulder plow through Dean Ambrose after the match. So it looks, there's a story there. They brought in this guy. We don't know why Jericho agreed. There's a lot of intrigue here that I hope they touch on Raw. Why did Jericho agree to do this match? And then why did he act the way he did after the match? And is this going to continue with Ambrose, or are we not going to see Chris Jericho on TV again? So I thought the finish was interesting. What'd you think about how they did it? Because obviously I don't know if they did it to take the fact off that Strowman absolutely killed Jericho. You know what I mean? So, like, this whole angle kind of got the focus off of that for a minute.
Yeah.
But I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect that much story to be in this match.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was pleasantly surprised with the whole thing. And I didn't even think of it as like a heelish, self-tagging. It didn't strike me as that. I also watched it after a really long day, really late at night, and my whole mind probably wasn't there. But Honestly, man, the whole match, I was watching Strowman. I found him to be the most captivating part of the match because I was just thinking about the possibilities there are with this guy. The way he can move, like he's pretty sick. I think all his moves look awesome. He's huge. My mind immediately went where I'm like, wow, I'd love to see him versus Brock Lesnar. But not that I don't think they'll ever do that because he would make Brock Lesnar look small. And I don't think that's something they're interested in doing. But he kind of make everyone look small. He's about the same height as Big Show, I think.
I mean, he makes Roman Reigns look tiny when they get face to face.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I found him to be, man, I was honestly just kind of like caught up in him the entire match. Also, I've been away the past 4 weeks, so this was my first time watching him live on my TV at all. So I kind of had that, like, he was debuting almost, you could say, for me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're doing really well with him, building him. They just have to find the good balance because, like, Luke Harper's just there. You know what I mean? He has no story. He's just there.
But that's like his deal, kind of, right? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
I think he's very good too. He did a lot of things last night that made me be like, you know, I think Luke Harper's just got such a great hold on his character.
What do you think? Like since WrestleMania, Reigns has kind of been taken out of the spotlight. You know what I mean? He's not been in a main event. He's not feuded with the top guy. He's been in feuds like these. Not that Bray Wyatt's not a top guy. They just don't book him like one anymore.
Yeah.
Where do you see Roman Reigns going here in the future? Do you think there's a strategy behind this? Do you think he can be the top guy that they tried to make him?
I think he can be. Sadly, what I see happening after being a fan of this company my whole life is I see just they're gonna try something else now, and if Roman Reigns is gonna make it to the top, it's gonna be because of him, and I don't think it's gonna be with the help of the office. And I think they gave him his shot. I don't think that's like I'm not saying that's the right thing. That's just like being realistic. I think all the energy that they used to put into Roman Reigns, they'll put into someone else and then into someone else. And if you don't work out fast enough for them, then they're on to the next one, kind of. I hope I'm wrong. But I just, and I'm not saying he can't do anything. I think he'll be the champ and stuff. I do. I think he could be the champ many times before he retires. But I think it's all going to be because of his charisma or something that he does, with his character, not any kind of push. It's going to be a push he makes them give him, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I just I'm curious because I'd hate to see them drop the ball with him because I think he is very talented. Yeah,
I love them. But that's what they do. They don't. What John Cena's on my television right now. I was about to say, what ball have they not dropped yet? And then I was going to say, no, but okay, maybe this one. John Cena's good, but who else, man? Like, really? You got everybody is like a ball that was once dropped. Like, all the top guys. Dolph, Dean.
Yeah, I mean that's it. You're absolutely right because they had both of them at the spot where they
just put in the locker room to have your ball dropped. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just like how it feels.
What'd you think? Because we're gonna get into the final two matches here. What'd you think about them having Rollins do the back-to-back here?
Loved it. Personally.
Well, like, what did you love about the strategy of him having to do two in a row? Like
I like taking the whiny, annoying heel who's supposed to get under our skin because he's a brat and a bitch about stuff, and be like, oh, well, you gotta, like, the authority kind of putting the screws to him a little bit and being like, well, pressure's on, dude. And I like how Stephanie said, she's like, it was very like backhanded. She's like, oh, you only have to beat like two clear cutouts for top tier Hall of Famers back to back or something, and also the way that the way the booking went would have affected how I answered that question, but it's cool. I guess we'll get into that, but I liked it because like I like seeing that's the kind of character that you want to see like punished, and and that was punishing for that character. So it's cool.
So match 1, what did you think of the first match? Cena gets the win clean, gets his U.S. Championship back.
Before the match, Cena did the coolest thing in the beginning of the match, and then he was going to tie up and just punched Rollins. And I was like, I remember I was watching, I was like, oh, that was awesome. Because, like, he's, you know, that's a kind of like a heel thing to do, but it's not. John Cena can do anything, and it's not a heel thing. It's like a frustrated thing, you know? Like, I'm fed up with you. You want to play dirty, I'll play dirty too. Not to, like, talk smack on John Cena, but, like, frequently in the past, he's been, like, he's kind of a loud wrestler. When the guys are calling spots to each other, I hate that shit when you can, like, hear them. And just sometimes he's loud. I love John Cena. Like, if he was here, I'd hug him. But he's loud sometimes, and I don't want to hear them talk. And he wasn't – there was none of that during this match. Like, I don't even think I saw his mouth move, so I was happy about that. I think there was, like, a weird sloppy or misconnect kick somewhere in this match. I have it on right now. It's just on with no sound. But the network's replaying it. But everything was, like, super good looking. All the moves looked super clean. Like, there was all the awesome – I'm a fan of, like, Cena doing all the new kind of stuff he does, like, that he didn't do 4 years ago, you know? Not that he didn't do a springboard stunner, I don't think, but, like, the springboard stunner, he did that Hurricanrana thing in this match, kind of, where Rollins was holding him up and Cena just dropped and Rollins, like, flipped.
Yeah, I don't even know what to call that. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I have no idea.
And then, you know, Seth Rollins obviously always does really cool wrestling moves because he's, like, you know – from the, like, indie claps world. So, like, he's the best of that world maybe ever. So, you know, they had an awesome match. And I'm happy that Cena won as a fan. As a WWE Universe member, I'm happy that Cena won.
So Cena gets the belt, and then they do kind of a setup for the second match because Cena ends up giving him the AA on the floor after Rollins is shoving him, okay?
Very cool.
And then he rolls him into the ring. So there's your storyline with the matches being back-to-back. Now, not only did Rollins just lose, but Cena just hit a devastating maneuver on the floor, and he has to immediately wrestle for Sting.
Yeah.
I'm going to point out something that irritated me about this, and it's only because I hate when they – change things or do things that don't make sense just to fit the story they want to tell. And I discussed this with Vince about something else on a different show that we recorded today, but it's pretty much the same thing. And this is what really irritated me. Before every title match, the ring announcer gets in the ring, and they do the boxing in this corner, your challenger from blah, 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 blah. And Eden did this with the Cena and Rollins match, okay?
Yeah.
But they didn't do it for this match. And the only reason they didn't do it for this match was because they wanted to sell that Rollins got hit on the floor and has to go into this match after just taking an AA on the floor. And that's where I have it. Huh?
That would piss me off if I were Sting.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what irritates me here. That's the only you can't explain why Eden didn't come back in the ring or Lillian or somebody to do the World Heavyweight title introductions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
So that's it's just something that's little, but to me it's irritating because there's no reason. But then before we get into Sting getting hurt and the finish, what do you think about the match overall?
I thought that honestly, I think that it was booked with extreme. Maybe it's like the old WCW, like when I was a little kid, Sting was my favorite wrestler ever, and maybe I'm just paranoid, but I feel like that match was booked and laid out in the ring to make Sting look stupid. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but like I don't know. It's like I would need to know who called the match, and I have reason to believe it could be either of them because, you know, heels normally call the match, and that would be Seth, but Sting's a lot older, so I guess it could have gone really either way. But, you know, Sting comes out really hot. He splashes him, then he attempts the death lock and doesn't get it, and he attempts the death drop, and he doesn't get it. It's almost like him coming out like, watch me drop this kid. And then, oh, this kid's a lot stronger than you thought. And it's almost like, yeah, it's like the WWE wants us to think like, poor idiot Sting. He thinks he's still tough, but he's not. It's like a lot of that match was Sting getting his ass beat by Seth. There was like not a lot of back and forth. And then, there was like, Sting hurt himself, so I don't really know.
Were you surprised to see him go through a table?
Yes.
So was I. Didn't see that coming. So,
56 years old, if not 57 now. It's insane. I was watching, thinking about, I think my dad is 56, and I was like, imagining my dad doing this stuff. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Stone Cold's a lot younger than him. I don't think you're going to see Stone Cold go through any tables.
Yeah. But apparently, they're saying that Sting got legitimately hurt in this match. So
clearly.
Yeah.
I was like kind of a little on the tipsy side, but I came from the bar and came back and watched it, and I knew, like, it was clear as day, dude. And he couldn't even. You know what the most clear time it was? Is he tries to get the death lock, and he doesn't. When you grab someone's legs, and then the final part of that move is sitting down on their back and pulling up, and he couldn't sit. It didn't really look like a move at all. We all know Sting knows how to do a scorpion deathlock. So like, I was like, damn, his back or something, like he can't like straighten out his back. It felt like to me that's what it looked like.
I think they have to, and I know it was a legitimate injury, and you never want to put these guys in danger, but they need to figure out what to do when this happens, because the trainer coming in a match when the object of the match is to hurt the other guy, and the guy's coming in to see if he's hurt, and he's telling the other guy to lay off, it doesn't make sense because the guy's supposed to be getting hurt. That's the whole point of this match.
Yeah.
And they use this as the angle with – Did you remember that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match months ago, the 10 power bombs or whatever?
Yeah.
And they used it as a storyline. The trainer came in and they were holding Kevin Owens back and they were checking on him, and it doesn't make sense when you do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know I'm not sitting here with the answers. I don't know what the answers are, but I think they do need to have something that makes sense in case this happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to sound like I'm requesting something that's like impossible, and obviously I'm not the only people who really know what they were dealing with are those two wrestlers and the ref. And it's like, really, they're the only ones who really know what's going on. But I believe that two wrestlers and a ref should be able to handle any situation, just those three. I'm obviously not claiming I know more about what to do in the ring than these three guys. I definitely don't. But I just perceive it like, you do a double knockdown or something and have the ref ask if you're okay. And then you say, nah, dude, my back's fucked or whatever it is, and we need to wrap this up somehow. Have the conversation. I think they maybe, but like I said, I wasn't there, but I can't see a reason that a guy had to come in the ring. I really can't.
So we have the end. Okay, Rollins gets the win. He counters the final Scorpion Deathlock into a roll-up, gets the pin, gets the win. Sheamus comes out to cash in.
By the way, a sick move. The reversal of the Deathlock, I thought. Especially for being on the fly. You can kind of see, too, if you watch, that Sting might not have been, 100% aware of what was happening. Rollins pulled his head in for him.
Yeah.
Well, Rollins is like, hey, you're getting flipped upside down real quick. Which sucks. That just makes me feel bad for Sting, the guy.
I know.
Man.
Yeah, they're talking he may have to retire. Who knows? I just hope he's all
God.
right. Yep. So hopefully he's all right. I guess they're going to talk about it on Raw, but sometimes you don't know what to believe,
right.
when they bring that into the storyline. But so Sheamus comes out to cash in. He hits the brogue kick on Rollins. They do this stupid. The referee doesn't understand what's going on, so they with the briefcase for 5 minutes because apparently WWE officials, we're supposed to believe, don't know what to do when someone cashes in the Money in the Bank. Right. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
I was thinking that. Why doesn't he just ring? If it was real, the ref would ring the bell as soon as he saw Sheamus coming. He'd be like, it's Money in the Bank time.
Yep. But anyway, that aside, Kane's music hits, and he comes out before they can cash it in, and it's masked Kane, and must Miracle grow his whole full head of hair.
Yeah, the hair looked real. I know it's not.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man, because no fan sitting at home is going to believe that Kane just grew his hair out. Why did he have to have the hair? That's my deal. Like,
yeah, like what the hell? Like, because if it was 1992, right, and he had the hair, that would be okay because people wouldn't know who Glenn Jacobs is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it would have just been like, oh, that's a different freaking dude, I guess. But nah.
But anyway, with
a mask, bald with a mask, that would have been sick, and he's looking like Bane from Batman. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess, you know, that it makes sense to them that this guy would put a wig on underneath his mask. But anyway, he choke slams Rollins. So then Sheamus wants him to give him another one so he can cash it in. But then Kane choke slams Sheamus.
Yep.
And then he tombstones Rollins. And then, you know, we go off the air. So I was miffed at this. I didn't understand the logical reasoning of this. And I'll tell you why. Because obviously Kane came out to screw with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins put him on the shelf, injured his ankle. This was the deal.
Yeah.
But in actuality, when you look at the storyline, he helped Seth Rollins. He just saved Seth Rollins from probably losing the title to Sheamus. Okay? If Kane wanted to screw Seth Rollins, wouldn't he come out during the Sting match and try to make him lose the title and not save Sheamus from beating him? Because that's what they did. You know what I mean? That's my issue with that. I don't think the story makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of that either. But I was just thinking about that. Maybe it was like, maybe this is a last run for like my conspiracy theory for Kane or for Glenn Jacobs, and that he wanted to go out as the monster. That's what I was just thinking about the whole time. But you're totally right, dude. Yeah, that makes no sense. Why wouldn't he come screw him out of the title?
I do like that that this is how he is. This Kane I'll take all day over the one in the pants, you know, the director of operations or whatever he was.
Would you think it was dumb if they had this Kane wrestle the Undertaker?
No, not at all.
Or would you like that?
I'd like it because this is the deal, and I know that's why they do stuff like this. They have issues creating new characters and creating new stars. So to get entertainment out of longtime fans, they have to do stuff like that, and I'm in that boat. Just for the storytelling purpose in the history, I'd like to see this Kane against The Undertaker one more time. I think it'd be a good story to tell.
Yeah, I agree. That would be awesome. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, you know, my mind started going like, well, what if this is the last run for Glenn Jacobs, and then that means they're going to do crazy stuff. Like, what if there's a Hell in a Cell match or something with him and Undertaker, or what if, you know, all this crazy stuff. They could do cool stuff.
You know, especially look, next month is Hell in a Cell, and the Undertaker's on the show. Kane debuted in an Undertaker Hell in a Cell match. If they don't go anywhere near this, I think it's just a drop ball. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's right there for him. It's wrapped up. It's got a nice bow on it here. You know what I mean? Do it. Yeah, So I think it cool. That would be cool to do. But that's it, man. So overall impressions, enjoy the show?
Yeah, I enjoyed the show. I'm trying to think. Well, one other thing I wanted to add that I forgot. We're coming back to Rollins and Sting. Like I said, Sting's my favorite wrestler ever, so I'm not, you know, by any means hating, but the fact that he got hurt and with some other things, I felt like it was really clear that I don't think Sting trained a lot for this match. Getting hurt might have been a sign of that, but there's other things too. I just don't. He's got all the burns from the ropes that the other guys who are in the ring every day don't get. And it's on my TV still, so I've just thought of that. But yeah, I thought the show was good, man. And, you know, it wasn't the best. There was stuff that didn't make sense, but there were no bad matches. There really weren't, in my opinion. And that's a lot more than you can say about a lot of wrestling shows. So, hey, say be average. B, neutral B.
I agree with that. I don't think it was a great show, but it wasn't bad by any means. Like I thought the matches were good and entertaining, and I thought a lot of the psychology in the matches were good, like the women's match, and the Owens and Ryback match. My only issues why I wouldn't say it's a great show is just the logical, creative issues that they have from time to time, and I thought they were apparently like bad on this show to me anyway. But yeah, I mean, B, I'd agree with that. I'd give it a solid B. So going forward here, you excited for Hell in a Cell?
Very excited. Night of Champions is always, I mean, it's a kind of a whatever pay-per-view. Night of Champions is one you like get yourself excited about because it's happening, so you might as well be excited about it. But Hell in a Cell, baby, that's real, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to have like a party.
I appreciate you coming on and doing this, and like I've said in the past,
you're invited me, man.
Anytime. You're invited to come on here with me and Vince anytime, man. But let everybody know what you're up to these days and where they can see you guys. I know you're coming up my neck of the woods here in November. Yeah,
we'll be on tour in America. The dates are up at defendpoppunk.com or manoverboardnj.com. But we got a couple weeks in the beginning of November. I'm going out to England. I'm home for like a month. In October, at some point, I'm going to England for 4 days. And we're doing the Vans Warped Tour, the UK one, which isn't even really a tour. It's one. They call it the Vans Warped Tour. It is literally one show. It is by no means a tour. But we're playing some other show the day before in Coventry, England. And that's it. I'm working on some stuff at home right now, and everything's good, but the schedule's light until the holidays, so it's all good, baby. Well, good deal, man. Good luck with everything, and I know I don't know if you're advertising it, but you got some other interesting things going on as far as wrestling is concerned. I advertise everything. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. I'm reffing wrestling. Yeah, so more matches. Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. So where will you be refereeing so that way anybody in your area, if they want to check you out, they can go to the shows? Mainly there's a place called OTW, Old Time Wrestling, in Williamstown, New Jersey. And everybody also should check out a place that I've been talking about going up to. I got to go visit them still, but we've been talking a lot in Staten Island called Warriors of Wrestling. They do awesome shows. And they have a lot of awesome guys there, and they have a lot of awesome guys come through there. Like, I think they had Sean Waltman there not long ago, and their champion just did a champions versus champions match versus EC3 at Warriors of Wrestling. So they do some cool stuff there, and just those two places. Everyone should definitely check it out. And Twitter, it's I think they're like, I don't know what Warriors is, but they're called Warriors of Wrestling, and OTW is OTW at OTW Updates, and that's more of like a classic style promotion. It's like watching like early 90s WWF, and there's a lot of really talented guys down there and a lot of really good personalities. People should check it out. All the matches are on YouTube. Good deal, man. Yeah, everybody check that out. See Zach in person doing the refereeing, because not only is he out there playing music, but he can do this as well. And I mean, dude, that's so cool, man. That you live in both worlds, man. That's really cool. I'm still a pretty green ref. I'm trying to get my XP up. That's a good way to put it. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody joining us again. Thanks to Zach for coming on here and talking Night of Champions. Stay tuned. You still got, let's see, this will go up most likely Tuesday, which gives you about 8 days left for our $2.99 special. Use the code word brand. You get that price, $2.99 a month for life. So please check that out. Again, I'm Jeff Lane. For Zac Eisenstein, we'll see you next time.
Visit VinceRussoBrand.com to sign up for exclusive VIP content. You get over 20 new video shows monthly, including Vixens Who Rule and The Swerve, where Vince Russo interviews stars in wrestling and beyond. Listen to Vince and Jeff Lane discuss weekly news and rumor and review Attitude Era Raws. Also, watch the cult hit Bucket Full of Chicken next. Go to VinceRussoBrand.com and click the red subscribe button to join now.